Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Glad to have my good friend Marsha Logan here. And Marsha, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, originally I am from here in Morganton. Moved to Charlotte about 7 years ago, and pretty much my church Elevation took me there, and so I'm pretty involved there.
Right.
I'm working in security, and I'm doing ushering at both locations.
Well, that's the connection, man, you had from years ago. You're from here, and we did attend the same church here formally together. And, that's all those things, it's neat how the relationships come together and work out. But I can remember you just want a little bit more. There's worship's limited and those kind of things. And, I love contemporary worship and music and those kind of things. And, I've always liked that platform of that kind of deeper worship and those kind of things. And I know that was something you were yearning. You were wanting something a little bit deeper in the walk and worship, because you've always been like that.
Yes, I love the deep worship. It's a more intimate time with God, I feel like.
Right. Now, a lot of people, they're not familiar with Elevation, and we talk about this all the time because I love talking about church and the seasons I'm in and all the things I've been through. My first encounter with Stephen Furtick, it was kind of cool that he was kind of did some stuff in Rock Hill, my hometown, at Winthrop, because I did a lot of stuff at Winthrop, when I first started out with in ministry and stuff like that back in 1981. That's way back there. So I had a little connection when he started talking that. But I was really impressed with his being a young man and his fervor for the Lord, and I was always drawn to that. And he seemed pretty solid to me, so I like that. But on the other hand, I know a lot of people that I think, they think, you get televangelists and these big preachers and all this stuff that's happened with Hillsong and things like that, and it breaks my heart. But a lot of people, they don't like those big churches and those personalities and that charisma kind of thing. What's your feeling on that? Because the next generation to me seems like, hey, this is good stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times people think it's all about the money, but because I know Pastor Stephen Furtick and Holly, I know their hearts, and they're all about people, and bringing in as many as they can.
Well, you see all the baptisms. To me, I visited there. I went the one that was uptown Charlotte. They got a lot of different campuses and stuff like that when we were staying down there, and I really enjoyed it. I love worship music, and everything was real professional, and they were greeting people. They were, baptizing. So to me, that it's hard to. We can talk about different ministries and all the things they've done. We've talked about this on the podcast. But, if you're there for the right reasons and people are getting changed, the Word of God works.
Oh, absolutely.
And when it's, us men and people, personalities, we get everything screwed up sometimes in the meantime. But that being said, the fruit is there. People's lives are being changed. I'm not going to throw stones at that. That's just me.
Yeah, we have weekly so many testimonies of people, their lives being completely changed. So anyway, they raise their hands, they say, yes, I'm committing my life to God. Yeah. And then we'll give them a book. Well, I gave 6 Bibles away.
Man, that's
and
awesome.
That was pretty awesome. And I was just in one section.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know how many Bibles were even given out that day, but I was like, oh my gosh, I got to give 6 Bibles away.
Yeah.
So
that's encouraging to me, Marsha. Now back it up. You come back to small town.
Yeah.
That's one thing I battle with. Because I'm from Rock Hill and Charlotte area, and I love that. But I love Morganton. I love the city, and I love all the God's country and the mountains and the beauty and the majesty and the all the things that happened here. But yet at the same time, you don't want to be in a place that's Ichabod. The glory's departed,
I know.
And not that's the case, but I'm just saying, people are ready to be resurrected. People are ready. This generation is looking for more. And I think a lot of times if you get in the way of that, you might start falling off to the side. If you get in the way of what God's doing, I think a lot of times if people are yearning and seeking and you're putting a blanket on that, man, that's not a good place to be at.
Right. We definitely want to allow the Holy Spirit to have free reign in the service. And I feel like at Elevation, there's people from that are Catholic, Methodist, I mean,
every group.
every group.
Yeah.
That is welcome there, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Just seeing all those people come together and worship.
Yeah, I like to see that fabric of people come together like that. You know, every nation, every tongue. We talk about that all the time. It's got to be like that.
Absolutely.
But when you get in a small community, like here, I've experienced that even here. You know, you start getting people say that there's unity, but you know, it's you know, I don't know. It seems like we get upset with one another over a color of our skin or the, you know, where we're from or all those different things, and all in the name of God. You know, a lot of times a lot of friends, you know, could say that they're Christian, but, you know, their life doesn't read like that.
Right.
And so I'm so different now. Now I'm totally turned around. You know, I'm not doing it from the church platform. You know, I'm very God-fearing man, I believe. But, you know, I'm like Peter, man. I mean, I'm gonna give it to you straight. I'm not playing no games no more. I'm gonna ask you what the hell did you mean? You know, so we got this straight before we depart. You know, and understand people's intentions, and you know, who's doing what and who's doing. I'm more into that now. You know, I've come through so much in seasons that I like being direct, and I like to know what's going on. And when you're controlling people's lives or affecting people's lives, you're responsible for that, and that's a big load to carry.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of my prayers every day. God, use me in everyone's life that I come across.
Exactly.
Just, you know, the Holy Spirit living in you, there's power. So whether it's my words, my actions, me just walking past someone, I want to be used.
Right. Like the shadow.
Yes.
Like, you know, touching somebody. Well, I believe that, you know, just your personality, your glow. That's one thing I see more than anything is I think Christians should have a glow about them, a joy about them, you know, the ones, I know we got different colors or personalities and all that kind of stuff, and I'm the one that probably gets on everybody's nerves because you're always happy and, you know, man, chill out a little bit. You know, the same ones and the greens and all the different ones. But that being said, as a Christian, I think there's got to be some joy there.
Absolutely.
You know, if you don't have any joy, some kind of laughter. We talk about this all the time, cutting up and laughing. And, you know, you got to be like that.
Yeah, I remember working for a dentist one time, and because I'm such a happy person, he was like, what is wrong with you? Why do you have to laugh and stuff all the time? And he would always get on to me, and I was like, well, that's Christ living in me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know it's like me on the pickleball court, and everybody's so reserved and quiet, but I'm such an old redneck. I'm always talking junk because I like for people to have a good time. But so many people are so reserved, and you know, it's just like they can't have no fun. They can't, you know, it's like, please pass the jelly. You remember that commercial? The lady, you know, she's passing out because, you know, old rednecks ask for some jelly. You know, that's just the way we talk, and that's the way real people are. Yeah. And I think most people are like that. Marsha, let's change gears a little bit now. We know how temporary life is.
Yes.
We know how quick life is. We was talking about near-death experiences. You know, so many people in this life, they don't realize how this might be the last time we see each other.
Absolutely.
You know, you're not promised tomorrow. Or, you know, we could be dead tonight. And people, they don't realize how important that is to say how much each other loves one another and cares for one another. Because, you know, you could have that. But a lot of people's had near-death experiences. Is that something like that ever happened to you? We ran into a girl down here this past week that got shot in the head here in Burke County.
Wow.
Shot in the head. And, you know, she don't remember it. You know, but now she was out on the streets at the TGIF this past weekend, and she's a beautiful black girl, and she's telling this testimony. She's showing us this scar, and, you know, now she's telling everybody how, you know, her near-death experience. And now here she is now giving witness to that.
Yeah.
That's cool testimonies.
It's definitely, that's something I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
It's the NDEs is what they call it.
Now, what is that?
It's near-death experiences, the NDE.
Okay. That's an acronym.
Yes.
For all us smart people.
Yes. I'm pretty passionate about it because I do want to know more about heaven. And everybody that talks about having an NDE, they experience heavenly beings, Jesus. They've even experienced having God in their presence.
Right.
And I just love that.
Right.
When they're so detailed.
You know, I've only had a couple experiences in my life, you know, that I felt like an angel was involved in my life. And one, I was talking about this, you don't run in the rain. Make a note. You don't run in the rain. You can sing in the rain, you can dance in the rain, but you don't run in the rain. Reason being, if you're ever coming out of a Taco Bell with your bag lunch and it's raining cats and dogs, okay? It was raining cats and dogs down here in Rock Hill. And I come out and I say, man, it's raining cats and dogs. And I had this bag of food and I'm like, man, I'm going to get soaking wet. So I dart across the thing, and about the time I dart out there in the rain, it's like something picked me by the nape of the neck and just pulled me up on my tippy toes. And right then, a car flies by.
Wow.
Just like that. And I'm like, wow. So now if you ever see me, I'm walking in the rain because there ain't no car going to run over me. And the second time I was riding a dirt bike by myself, and I'm going up this hill out on the farm down in Rock Hill, and I get to the top, and the bike comes over, and I'm down here by myself in the field down in the bottom, and the only place I could fall on this hill was the one tree that was on there, and I fell up against this tree and just crushed my ribs, and said, oh. And right when I landed, it's like something pulled me out of the way, Marsha. And next thing, the motorcycle just crashes right on that tree. It was crazy.
Yeah.
So those kind of been my, not near death, but that's, we don't realize how near death we really are.
Well, that's just having the presence of angels by your side. And that's another thing that I hear all the time. They talk about how everybody has a guardian angel.
Sure.
And they're there to protect you.
Sure.
Sometimes you call in the name of Jesus, and sometimes you don't. They're just there, and they'll just do what they need to do. But I was going to say, so back when I was about 16, I was driving a Mustang coming down Enola Road, and all of a sudden, I know it had to be an angel, but this car was coming across.
Right.
And I don't know how. I just, all of a sudden, I knew that I was on the other side of this car when that car was going to hit me.
Right.
So I know that an angel did that.
Sure. Yeah.
And I feel like the reason why that happens is because there's a plan.
Yeah.
There's a plan, and if that were to happen, it would mess up the plan that God has.
I think all of us are planned for greatness, and our steps are ordered. And there's people that you touch, there's people that you reach, and you don't realize how much you sow into their lives by touching them, your shadow, your presence, your personality. Some people you'll never know about. Some people that are in the shadows and they're just watching, they're observing, and people's lives are changed by that.
So I want to say something real quick. You saying that with the NDEs, many will say that they'll have. It's almost like a projector, and it's showing their life,
right,
and things that they did throughout their life that affected people, maybe in a positive way or a negative way, and they're actually the person,
right,
and they feel what they did, what they had done to that person, and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what I said really hurt them,
right.
So that just caused me to think about that. Everything that we do will affect someone in some way.
Oh, yeah. Your words are so important. You reap what you sow. There's karma. That's one thing I love about God. You can debate God, you can talk religion, politics, all that kind of stuff, but it comes down to you're going to reap what you sow.
Yeah.
And if you're doing good things, you're going to reap good things. If you're doing bad things, you're going to reap bad things. If you're doing, shady things, if you're slithering, if you're sliming, doing things that nobody knows about, it's all revealed.
Yes.
Everything is open. That's why I try to be an open book now. A lot of my friends, they, say, Mike, man, you don't even seem like the same person. Well, I'm not the same person. I'm I've changed gears. It's and God's got me in a place where I can be more, aware of people's circumstances, what they're going through, or what they're identifying with, how I can help them, how I can minister to them. Cutting out all the BS. All the different things is important to me now. That's one thing. A lot of times Christians, we get, it says the children of the world have got more sense because we get so one-sided. We don't know how to talk to other people. We don't know how to adapt to other people. We don't know how to communicate. We don't know how to reach other people without putting harnesses on people, or saying you got to be like this, or they're not with us, or they're not like that, those kind of things. And we're notorious for that. back, and I don't like that.
Yeah, and Jesus, he definitely, he loved everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
He loved everybody. It didn't matter what they had done, who
Right.
they were at that moment.
Right.
And that's exactly what you're speaking of right now.
Yeah, exactly. Now, let's talk also about, what do you see, what are some of the things coming back from like Charlotte and you come back to Morganton here? What are some of the things you're seeing here? You seeing anything, it's in the raw right now, isn't it? In a lot of ways.
Well, I will say that Morganton looks a lot better than what it did
Yeah.
back 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's coming along. It's got some things happening. We're down here at Morganton Live and doing podcasts and doing TV and doing, just trying to make the streets better, try to build things up. We got Rossi Craft, on board, and, we got Yanni working with us, Philippou, doing all the different things he's doing. We just interviewed Billy James, he's doing the rap music. We just did the Juneteenth. We did George Logan, Juan Johnson, Arlen March, all these people, Jamie Buchanan, people want to hear people's different thoughts and opinions and feels, because that's our community, and we're trying to make it better and for the next generation, and that's what we're trying to do.
It's beautiful up here now. Yeah. I mean, it was beautiful before, but I love color.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at that over there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I love
mural.
color. Yeah, the mirror. Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
You see them everywhere in Charlotte.
Yeah, I know. That's I'm talking about murals. I'm all about putting murals everywhere. Every blank wall needs a mural on it in my mind. Every sidewalk needs a mural on it. I can't stand things that look trashy and bad. In the meantime, till we're fixing it up, put a mural on there if it's it's something nice, and so we're doing things like that. Paint the place up a little bit.
And don't you have a park here? Like
Yeah, we got it all here. We've got everything here in Morganton. People don't realize it yet. This is going to be the hub of everything that's happening in the music scene. Everything. It's going to be everybody's going to be coming through here.
I believe that. Well, it's funny. A lot of my patients, they'll say, "Where are you from?" Because I'm, kind of country.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Morganton. They're like, "Oh, wow, yeah, that's a beautiful place." So a lot of people, they know exactly where Morganton's at.
Oh yeah. Morganton's beautiful, and man, when the Sky Needle, y'all be looking from Charlotte, y'all be looking at the Sky Needle and say, "There's Morganton right there where the Sky Needle's at."
That's exactly what I think
They ain't
about.
ready for the Sky Needle yet, so we're gonna start at the courthouse. And we're going to work on the history and build that up and just all those things, music, and we got so many great things here, and just everything, just the Charlotte and Asheville's close and all the different Boone, and this is just a beautiful part of the country, and the mountains, the wilderness, the Linville Gorge, Grandfather Mountain, the Blue Ridge. It's got everything, and we want everybody to experience the best of everything, Marsha, and you see all this growth in Charlotte and all these different places. A lot of people don't want growth.
Yeah,
people say, we don't want that growth, but I think that's a disservice, for the next generation. You got to have places for people to raise their families, places that are safe, all those kind of things. Now let's change gears a little bit again. Let's talk homeless in Charlotte. Y'all got a homeless problem in Charlotte?
We definitely.
Now, we got a small problem here in Morganton, and I talk about that. I'm pretty passionate about that. I'm working with the leaders and public safety and all the different people in the businesses and things like that. I'm pretty strong. They got to go. Okay, I work on one-on-one individually. We're going to help you out. But if you're not willing to participate, you're not going to leave trash everywhere, tents and crap like that, charging business, that stuff's got to go. That ain't working. We're cleaning the place up. We're going to clean it up. And if you want to be part of it, great. How does Charlotte deal with that? Because they've got people walking the streets, and, it's a little different down there than it is here.
It is, and they do have an area called Tent City, and lots of homeless there. But I will tell you, if you ever interview any of them, they will tell you most of the time that's what they like. That's their family. That's their
choice.
That's their choice.
I know. I'm hearing.
So, what do you do about that when they want to remain on the streets?
Well, that's they're not going to remain. They might stay in Charlotte, we'll send them your way, but they're not staying in the streets of Morganton. So, you can quote me on that. So, if you want a home, if you're trying to do something, you're trying to clean, send them to Mike Stroud, because I know what to do. I need workers. But those people make a choice. We done talked about this. Arwen, she ran the McDowell Center. And so it's a choice. All all the churches done gave them all money. They take the tents that they give them and all the stuff, trying to, we love y'all, we trying to help you out. Nuh-uh, that ain't going on no more. Not on my watch. You got to get your butts up. I don't want to say it on camera, but get your butts up. Or get working, get moving, get helping out, get your check somewhere else. We got a shuttle that leaves out of town. You can go either way, and but it's not going to happen here. So anyway, that's not a political speech. That's just Mike Stroud 101. That's business 101. In church, in business, in the city, it all applies the same. You got to take out the trash. Okay, I'm here with Marsha. We're continuing on the podcast, and Marsha, loving all the subjects. Now let's talk a little bit more about the difference between big church, little church, or elevation in a small community church like I attend here in Morganton, things like that. It's a lot different because you come from small town, going to big town, and then a lot of your friends kind of look back to this town and the atmosphere and stuff of the city, Morganton. Tell us kind of your comparison from one to the other.
So when I was here in Morganton, was attending Christian Outreach, and I felt like I was super close to the pastor, Pastor Holly. At elevation, that's not going to happen. You're not going to have that intimate relationship with your pastor.
Sure.
I mean, if he was like that with everyone, I mean, he wouldn't have any time for himself and his family. I mean,
when you get that size.
So definitely.
Small towns got a little bit more made personable.
It's more, yes.
A lot of people like to feel like they're connected to their pastor and can reach their pastors, and But then on the other hand, I can understand. Even Jesus. A lot of times people think Jesus is was real accessible, but he was he's got people pressing him. I mean, the lady's crawling through the ground to reach him. So when you get to that level. Some people don't understand that kind of growth or that kind of outreach. Right.
And so with elevation, we have what are called campus pastors.
Okay.
And so those are the individuals that
breaks it down.
Yes, they do. And you can have a relationship with them.
Right.
You can go have dinner, whatever. Go watch a movie. I love my pastor at Matthews. It's Philip. He is just amazing. I mean, he takes time for every person that needs, whether it's just a talk or go get lunch.
Right. Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, you got to have that. A lot of times a pastor, people don't realize pastor and how hard work that is in ministry. It's you got to care for the sheep.
Yes.
You got to touch the sheep. You got to be able to, stroke the sheep, correct the sheep, help the sheep. We know how sheep, they're pretty pretty not useless. I'm pretty useless a lot of times as a sheep. I am the black sheep with no hair now. I've been sheared. But that's the sheep is what the pastor's all about. If you've got somebody that can't touch and connect with you, so many people need that, and especially with the next generation. They're the only thing they're connected to is their phone, and and how do you pull that together? I think that's why the elevations and the hill songs, they're so media savvy, and even like the podcasts and things like that. To me, this is vital to have this venue for people to understand, connect, hear different people's opinions, and realize they're not alone.
Yes.
But they got to have a pastor, somebody that inspire them, that can connect with them. You got to have that. Otherwise, it's just like, hey, look at me over here. I'm just lost nobody.
Yeah, definitely. And we're created for connection.
Yeah.
So if we can't connect with our pastor, I think it would really be. I mean, it would be really tough, like at times that you feel like you need to talk to your pastor about, like if you had a death in your family or whatever. People, they have a need for people.
Yeah.
They have that need for connection.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely, I love having the campus pastors there, but you're not at elevation. You're never going to be able to have that relationship that you would desire, you desire with.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes. That's when you get to that point. That's everybody's running their own race too.
Yeah.
I think people who are once you get connected and you become a part. Everybody's got to feel like they're connected in some way and they're reaching some way and they're being fulfilled in their own hearts. That to me, that's where the real connection comes. Is knowing how to mentor somebody, counsel somebody, but at the same time, people got to make their own choices, and you got to let people do their thing and support them in those things, and then we're all different. You know, you don't know people's backstory. You don't know what they come through. You don't know where they've been or what they've been hurt by, where they've been, where they're at. And here in the South, we're bad about just having. I'm thankful that we're in the Bible Belt. They say we're in the Bible Belt, and it's just obvious. I remember them bringing Bibles into the elementary school, Miss Trumbull in Richmond Drive Elementary in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And now that kind of stuff's kind of thrown to the side because it's like you're trying to brainwash. One side says you're trying to brainwash, the other side's trying to brainwash, but the truth always comes out. Yeah. Love always shines.
Yes, it does. It does.
Okay, Marsha, we're still talking big city, little city. My son's watching this show called Big City Greens. I don't know. It's so crazy, it's so irritating when I first started watching it. But as I started watching it, I mean, if you knew my son Joseph, he's not my he's adopted son. And he's different, and he's like cricket greens. He's all over the place. But the grandma and them being loud and coming from the country and going to the city, those differences are so a lot to adjust to. So people from Morganton going to Charlotte, they don't want to get in that traffic. They don't want to get it. They want to keep it. Keep small town. But I miss the amenities and stuff like that. All the different restaurants and things like that instead of one chow hall.
Yeah, there's definitely different. I mean, so many different restaurants up there. I was trying to think of this one restaurant that's just up the street from me, but it's Poland.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Polish. And then there was another one that I have a friend, Irish. It's the Irish pub. And the food in there is great. You're like, wow, what? I've never even tasted any of that food before. You're introduced to so many different things up there in Charlotte, where you can't find here in Morganton.
Yeah,
but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. We're working on it. I like all the variety. They say, well, Mike, there's a lot of Hispanic restaurants here in Morganton. It's like, well, they've been telling us since I've been in elementary school in Richmond Drive. Back in 1972, way back there. You better learn how to speak Spanish, and the Spanish are coming. We're gonna be the minorities one day. But I love the Hispanic people. I love all the people, man, because thank God for them. They're family people, most of them. We got craziness in everybody, but I thank God for all the different restaurants. And one guy said we should treat each other like our restaurants. We shouldn't judge each other by the way they look or where they're from. But like Mexican, I love Mexican food, man. Chinese, man, I love Chinese.
We just
Asian,
came from a Mexican
Indian.
restaurant.
Yeah, I know curry. And I like home cooking too. We don't have enough. The baby boomers are dying off, so I don't know what the kids are going to eat for pintos and coleslaw and that kind of stuff. It's kind of a dying thing. Everything's trendy now.
That's so funny.
But I love that. I love the big city and the small city that, there's a lot of different comparisons. It's like Green Acres. You remember when Green Acres is a place but it was hard for her to fit in. She was always trying to bring the big city to the country. And so anyway, we love everything that's going on here in Morganton. Marsha, so glad you came and was on the podcast and visiting, because we kind of started out doing this. And now, it's just continuing. The seeds continue, like you said. We're just trying to make Morganton alive with music and for families and churches and everything. Just the whole community coming together and just experiencing God's goodness.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love connecting.
Yeah.
Connecting with the right people.
Right.
Yeah.
It makes it good.
It does. It really does.
Stay connected with us, and you're going to see more things here at Morganton Live.